So we have another beauty prize here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Against Keene Raymond.
Yeah, he was one of the uh, English grandmasters, and we played this game in Reykjavik. It was very big open in Reykjavik in 1972, the same year, a little bit before this historic match from Spassky against Fischer. And we played this Super Open from Reykjavik, and finally I could win the Open together with Stein, the Soviet grandmaster, and the Czech grandmasters Hort.
So it was a three people
Three,
tied.
yeah, yeah, but it was a tournament with many, I don't know, 40, 50 grandmasters, something like this. You know,
Very strong.
very strong
So you played
tournament.
with white.
I played with white and we played the Grünfeld. He liked Grünfeld for black, and it was very important theoretically. We'll see.
What is Grunfeld? So what
Grünfeld
are
is
the...
with the bishop in g7, as in the King's Indian.
Yes.
But instead of playing later on bishop g7, castle, and d6,
Yes.
here black plays very quickly d5. This is a so-called Grünfeld defense, you know, with d5. And this is a little bit different, of course. All kind of variations are different. c6, e3, bishop e6, knight g5, bishop f5. Well, everything is theory until now. Yeah. And now I played bishop e2. Probably a little bit better, I mean more active, is to play immediately queen b3 instead of bishop e2. Why? Because after bishop e2, he can take in c4, and you
lose a
move
tempo.
twice with the bishop, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. But white is still a little bit better. Yeah. So bishop takes, and now knight d5. This is, from now on, is probably one of the variations that he analyzed at home. I mean, he tried to surprise me a little bit, you know, because now it seems that black is losing a pawn. I mean, you take in d5. If you want something, you take, and queen b3. And from now on, everything is more or less forced. He played very well knight c6. Yeah. And now, if you took in d5, black could play something very sharp, you know, and black is all right. With e5 and so on, you know, very good initiative for black. You know.
So if you took with the queen here,
Well, if you take with the queen there is not very clear, because if you take with the queen, you could have the surprise to have black play not immediately taking d5, but play instead knight b4. And after queen takes d8 first, no? So you take in d5 with the
yes,
queen, yeah?
yes.
Yes. Queen takes d5.
Ah, okay, okay. So it takes
Yes,
here.
and now not after knight b4 is very unclear, because what can you play now? You have to take in d8.
Ah, you
Yes,
attacks here.
and you give check you know, in between. You give a check in d3.
Yes.
You have to play king d2 or king e2, and now rook takes d8, and now it's very strong for black. You know, it's probably you are worse, maybe lost with white. You know, because the knight from d3 attacks everything in f2, in c1, in b2, f4. You know, and if you lose the pawn from d4, you have very bad position, probably lost already. You know, so it's very risky to take the pawn like this. You know. So now castle is okay. White is a little bit better. Now you take in e5, no? And now d4. This is
Just surprise.
now the small surprise from black, but very good move, because if he took immediately in e5, let's say normal, if he
Yes.
takes with the knight in e5, you take with the bishop. He takes back with the bishop. Now you play back the knight f3. You attack the bishop. And when he goes back somehow in g7, for it, now you can take maybe the pawn in d5 with the queen,
Oh, with the queen.
or you can play normally rook f d1, and you are much better with white. You know, you have control in d4. You attack the pawn, much better for white. You know,
Yeah.
probably almost winning the position. The rook f d1, fantastic position for white. So instead, he played d4, and after this move, after d4, everything is very unclear. It's a very tactical position, and white has to play very well to show that he's better. I mean, because the position is very unclear. You know, it's dangerous for both. And he played again very well. Queen takes d4. You know, he's trying to get the initiative. I mean, to show that he's a little bit better himself. You know. So knight d5, very good. And he took in e5. Okay. And from now on, you'll see everything will be very nice tactically. Rook cd1, queen c5, knight back to e3. Now you have to go somewhere with the bishop, but where? Only in c8. Because if you go, for instance, in d7, you could win, you could lose a piece somehow.
Why?
Because I can take in e5 and afterwards I can, well, let's say I take in e5 after bishop
okay.
d7.
Yes.
And you have to take only with the queen.
Yes.
No? I take there, you take with the queen there, and I could win a pawn now if I take in d7 and b7. But I want more, and I
Yes.
take with the knight. I take with the knight in f7 immediately. Now you have to take, rook takes d7, you resign.
Because this one is
Yeah.
pinned.
Yes, and you lose at least another pawn in b7 and completely, destroy the position, if not more. I mean, if you don't lose immediately in 2-3 moves, then you lose 2-3 pawns.
Yeah.
So,
Which is enough.
yes. So you have to go, he's forced. He has to go only in e8, and after knight e3, only bishop c8. Okay. So now rook d5. The only move again, the only good move is queen c7. Okay. And so what to do? So I sacrificed the exchange because, again, everything is forced tactically, So knight d5, now queen d6, knight e4.
So almost there is no square for the queen.
Yeah, now you have to be very careful. The only moves for black, all the time. But he has exchange up here. He's exchange up, and okay, you have to demonstrate that you have something. You saw everything very well. I mean, you are better, and maybe you have a good chance to win. Okay. And now rook e1. Very quiet move, but now the threats are terrible because now we are threatening to take in e5 and win the queen immediately with a check in f6.
Yes.
So again, everything is forced.
So
the
take
best
here
way to
and,
do something is to give the queen for 2 rooks, the way he played in the game. I mean, to take in f4. And now we win the queen, but he has 2 rooks for the queen, and he could, somehow he didn't lose immediately, and maybe if he has a good chance to play with the bishop from c8, it's not clear again, Yeah. So we have to do something quickly again. So he took, and now queen b4. Well, until now everything was played very well by both. He defended also very well with black, but now he made the normal move.
But here, why you didn't?
No, queen b4 is no, it's not. The pawn is not important. We play for mate, here. Very quickly trying to demonstrate that our queen is better than the 2 rooks. Because if you allow him to put the 2 rooks in c8 and d8, and the bishop somehow to arrive again in g7, then black is all right. Then black has no problem at all, And maybe he's a little bit better afterwards, because too many pieces, So you have to do something very quickly, Your best hope is to give a mate attack again,
Against the king.
Against the king. So queen b4, we attack the bishop. What can he do? Bishop a6. This is a small mistake or decisive mistake. It was a little bit better to play here bishop g5 and after only in g5, because if he goes to e5, normal, another move, no? Yes. Bishop in e5, after queen h4, he resigns. Queen h4. Yes. Immediately lost. So the only move was to play bishop g5.
Because here is no defense?
Mate, no, he has to play h5, the only move. And now after queen g5 is mate.
Because
you lose the bishop and mate in h6 and finished.
Yes.
Forced. Everything is forced.
Yes.
Yeah. So he played bishop a6. It was, as I told you before, better to play in g5.
Yes.
But after h4, white is better. Clearly better. h4. And after h4, bishop h6. The big difference now is that black is... he will be mated in 2-3 moves now. Queen h4, and everything again is forced. It's the only move. King g7, because after bishop g7 is mate immediately in h7.
Yes.
So It's the only move. And now the last surprise, knight h5 check. He has to take.
And here he resigned.
He resigned because he's mate in 2. He has to take.
Yes.
Queen f6 check. King g8 and knight e7 mate. You know, we have only knight and queen. He has 2 rooks and 2 bishops, but he's mated.
Yeah.
Beauty price again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Very beautiful game, yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very nice game.
Good.
Initiative, you see. Sometimes initiative is more important than the number of pieces. You have here a lot of pieces, but you get mated. There's nothing to do. Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.